gasoline and grit running inside the blood. We don't lift, we don't quit, we just send it. Get running for something right deadly.
Welcome back, everyone. Episode 6 of the
Right Deadly Show. Today, we've got Ben Brown, former ATV racer turned Paralympic hopeful. I've known Ben for over 20 years. Pretty excited to get him up here today. Where did we first meet, Ben? How long has it been?
It's been over 20 years. It would have been at Kingston ATV Motocross. Basically, our first ATV motocross race, ironically. I was racing a 300EX. You're racing your 450. And we didn't know each other from the hole in the ground, and we're doing practice, and I look and I see 420, and I'm like, all right. So I'm like, at least I know someone's going to be pretty chill out tonight.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was a mud fest that day because
I
think it was the second worst race ever in Kingston history for as long as I can remember, because that track, it shut down by 2012 or something like that for the racing. But like
Kingston was a lot of fun.
It was the second roughest track I ever been on, but we'll get on to what was the roughest track down the this chat.
Oh, I remember watching Joey Lathers, who we raced trucks with. He fucking near killed himself on that tabletop on his 400EX. He had the 450 hybrid.
Yeah.
Right? And it was Kingston. It didn't matter. It's like it beat the guts out of you. Yeah. On a good day, it beat the guts out of you. It was almost smoother when it was muddy, but it was hard. Like, because
you didn't know if you're going to blow your bike up.
No matter what, Kingston, if you wanted to win anything there, you were working for it, man. That place was rugged. Yeah.
And you needed it, and you pretty much had to have your suspension dialed in, because the problem was they changed the jumps thanks to my crash, which we'll get into in a few minutes. But like when it was open gap jumps, when the track got chewed up, like on the way for the run on, and even the faces, because the faces used to be sand, but thanks to my crash, the faces got to be clay. Therefore, you could actually hit the jumps on a quad and not like go.
Yeah.
But it was crazy.
I remember my first time racing there, and when you, like you said, it was all sand and almost impossible to line up a four-wheeler to clear any of the jumps because of the dirt bike ruts, right? And usually you never hear the four-wheeler guys complain about the dirt bikes except for Kingston. Yeah. Usually everywhere else is the dirt bike guys complaining about the four-wheelers.
Because we make the track ball, we blue groove it.
Yeah.
And speaking of,
heard it all.
Yeah. But you know what's crazy? The track I built on the backyard after my accident, coming off the tabletop there, by 2008, that summer and the next summer, I would get 3 spots in the track that were blue grooved. And I never knew what blue groove was till I did Red Bud, which we'll talk about in a bit.
So before you went racing, you were on bikes. I remember seeing, this is going back, and I don't know if a lot of people watching this is going to even know what I'm talking about, but the old AMX days, Atlantic Motocross. Yeah. The old AtlanticMotocross.com. Yeah. Oh, man, I tell you, go on there and shoot your mouth off. But it was kind of cool because at that time, the ATV, the guys that wanted to race ATVs had no medium to be able to talk to everybody, like what we're doing here. Like back in the day, it was pro boards, right?
Like you literally had to find it was
internet forums, right?
Yeah, because if you didn't know, if you were in the motocross scene,
Ben Brown.
Yeah, racing Ben Brown. So if you knew about the motocross scene, but didn't have a computer, you were fine. But if you knew about the ops course races, you were fine. But if you didn't know, and of course in your case, the drag racing, if you're in those communities, you knew. But if you didn't know, if you had an ATV, wanted to go race, and you didn't have a computer, you didn't know where it was unless your local dealership had a poster.
So the quad section on the AMX page became, at that time, it was like if you wanted to find out, they're racing the exhibition in Lawrencetown this weekend, or they're doing drag races at the Pictou exhibition, or it's the motocross race here and they got a quad class, right? That's where I remember seeing Ben on there posting, and
we would do roll calls.
Well, I always said, who the fuck is this guy? He's on a 250 Recon, and he's like 10 feet in the air in these pictures. Before I met him, and I said, this guy's nuts. And then you ended up on a 300EX.
Yep.
And that was, by the end of it, that was quite a built machine.
Yeah, so because funny enough, I'm now 6'1". And yes, I know it's going to be absolutely hilarious when you think about it. But I was lucky if I was 5 feet tall by the time I got the 300EX. And it's not that I didn't want to get a 400 or anything like that. The thing was, because of my stature, I didn't feel safe enough, like size-wise, to get on a 400 or a Banshee, or because the 450s just came out around the time. And of course, thanks to dirt,
450s were fairly new then, yeah.
And the thing was, let's
04.
think about it. Thanks to ATV, like ATV Off-Road Fury and dirt wheels, even though the 400X and the Z400 were out, a lot of us still felt, or the Raptor, or AKA the 660 Crafters. We still, a lot of us still thought, you know, because you couldn't find your hands on a 250R. Let's face it, like those are far and few between. And when you find one, you're just like it's like finding a '69 General Lee Charger. It's like the greatest thing ever.
You can't find a 250R. Like,
But a Banshee was the next best thing, and not realizing those things are basically a box on wheels.
Oh, they
the same thing with a blaster.
Some guys will argue with me this, but they weren't a motocross machine.
No.
But I mean,
But
some guys can just fucking run.
But you
shit,
can get the
right?
aftermarket frames, and that was the crazy thing. So I got the 300EX just based on my size and everything. But I was ready to go race motocross. We got her set up as best as we could, and you know, I raced Kingston, didn't get scored both motos even though I finished them because I didn't know that I needed a number plate on the grab bar. I didn't know I should have a number on the jersey. So, and I did Mill Hill, and one moto I got scored lower than I actually finished. And then I realized by the time, before I did Metagan, find a piece of plastic, stick it on the grab bar. And
Metagan.
And that was I only did that. I didn't do the race the second year because I blew up the 300EX because when that winter, Dad was paying for 99% of my parts, and I was going to go 450 anyways, but I wanted to do one more season on the 300EX because I was taking NSCC motorcycle repair. So I felt if I'm going to get a 450, Dad said he would have bought me a stock one, but I didn't want a stock one because not motor-wise, just suspension-wise. Because I felt like, what am I going to gain out of a stock motor for like outside of power? Am I going to be really that much better off? Because I know you rode stock suspension those first 2 years.
Oh yeah,
you can go fast when the track's smooth, but by Moto 2, like you can't really go fast because your suspension can't, keep you more than a straight line. So we did what I call the budget racer 300EX, but thanks to your connections, I learned about Ray Fulton.
You had 400EX shocks on it, didn't you?
Yeah, so that's a funny thing. So we built, before the 300EX, we built a track right next to the barn on the family farm. And then we built bigger jumps for the 300EX.
Well, that's where you were launching your 250.
Yeah. Other than sand pits with the boys. And the crazy thing was...
back Sonny Bennett's and...
Yeah, Sonny Bennett's, West Kings Pit. We did a little Ravenwood until the cops started. I missed it the day the cops were there, and... Global News came out and filmed my buddies. I think they must have been on helicopters.
Who was that, Cooter and them?
No, it was Jay. His nickname's J-Rock, but Jared, Randy, Brock.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of who else was all there. And I'm thinking, this is cool, we're on the news, but this is not the good way to be on the news. Anyways, I missed that one for whatever reason. And that was fine, right?
Oh, yeah.
But but like I say, so I didn't realize the stock 300EX shock has like a 3/8 thick spot weld for the eyes. So I'm coming around the track, and one of my buddies, Nick Armstrong's watching me ride, and he's loving it. And I come around the bend after hitting a jump, and I noticed the shock is hanging just like your Renegade did one time. I think after the Picto, we will talk about that because that was hilarious. Not what happened to you, but just the circumstances of how you won versus me. Not that I had a problem losing anyways. But either way, so my friend Chris England already had a aftermarket front end on his 400EX, and I knew you could do it, so I asked him. He hooked me up all the parts, $100. Got my friend Anderson had him to modify the frame because we didn't know, and now I know. Like everyone that races 300EX, even though you don't see it anymore because of the classes have all changed in the States. JB Racing makes that bracket, and they make a strong enough bolt that the bolts aren't going to snap. But Andrew was looking at it, he's like, he just didn't feel structurally safe. So what we did with the frame, because it was within the rules, we cut the shock towers, raised those 3 inches up, I think it was, because you get an extra 3 inches of travel with the stock 400EX, whether it's stock travel or not.
They didn't really have rules in the junior class around switching up your frame and stuff, like
even the pro class.
Even the pro class,
for us, because it was regional.
I remember Blaze, like you could buy the lowered subframe. And they said, well, why would I buy one? He chopped his and made it lower, and there was nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
but again, it's different. Like I think when you do regionals, like with like a regional race, sometimes they don't have the same rules because they're trying to get people to come out and race.
yes,
And all,
yes.
But,
Then you get onto
and we put
bit
and also
level.
we put like a big thick gusset in between the frame rails to make sure things weren't going to break. And I raced that 400X front end, and then I bent the axle because I had a stock rear shock, and then I replaced the rear shock because after I bent the axle, I blew the rear shock out of the 300X. And I was going to try to I first tried, again, trying to save dad money. I tried to find anyone that had an 01 Raptor that was written off but still had the stock shock, because in 2001, the 660 Raptor had a remote resi, and after that it was piggyback, but the piggyback wouldn't fit in.
Okay.
And then for Kingston, the next Kingston race, I borrowed my buddy Brock's Warrior rear shock because his front end was practically destroyed.
Yeah.
And we ran it for a race, and then
Night and day difference.
it got me through. I had to get Adam Turner to tune it because after practice, it was just almost a little too stiff or a little too soft.
Are them guys still into suspension?
He works for Harley's.
Oh, awesome.
He's been working on Harley's for over a decade now,
Oh,
right?
wow, cool,
Every now and
yeah.
then he would goes out and helps Mitch, with his things, but that's because him and Mitch are like
That's
this.
who rebuilt the Renegade shock
Yeah.
that time. Yeah.
But anyways, like then I went back to stock 300X shock because again, I could have gone with a Works or an Elka, but again, all of us in the Atlantic MX group agreed, Ben, you have a 300X. Don't dump money like you would the rest of us are in our 450s. And I'm like, yep, not a problem. Like, you don't have to tell me twice. So then the only thing we did, because I knew I wanted to get some power just to bridge the gap between me and the 450s and to get a feel of like what more power feels like before I hop on a 450 full time. And you told me to go to Ray Fulton, and Ray, wasn't going to put a piston in it, but because of timing and everything, I just brought the motor to him because it was outside of my skill set, even though I was taking a motorcycle repair. It was just outside of my skill set. I learned by the time I worked for you and your dad for that work term, I'm good with bolt-on stuff. That's it. I'm not embarrassed to say it. And also I'm not I'm what I call mechanically inclined, like in theory things, but to put it from brain to hand, forget it, right?
Yeah.
Like if I'm going to work on your race truck, if it's putting on the wheels, like something very simple, or putting on your steering wheel, yep, it's safe. After that, don't ask me to do it because...
Well, that course, that's how you ended up...
working for you. And
well, you lived up here for a month.
Yep. And then...
That was fun.
Yeah. And like I say, so funny enough, the one time I did we had to fix something on the EX, and I did a quick test run on the... it's like a logging road behind the house here.
Oh, yeah, he went up around Old Carter Falls, lived that before they had it
Well, I
all
come back
gated
and
off.
put the quad back on the truck, and my
He was
truck...
parked at the bottom of the driveway down here. You get the hill climb for the four-wheelers. Well, he was parked kind of at the end of the driveway, and he come ripping down the driveway.
I didn't come ripping, but...
And he drove up on the back of his truck, and when he did, old Dodge D50, the fucking thing come out of park. And he went down the back.
And somehow it did. I should have gone head first, like the truck should have gone straight into the tree, but it steered itself like this. And then once I got out,
Went over the fence.
and your dad Rick just happened to come in after I walked up from the woods, and he asked what happened. He laughed, and you came and laughed, and
he says, I see Ben walking up out of the woods. And he said he had his full motocross gear on, chest protector, helmet, everything. I'm walking up out of the woods. Where's your bike, man? Wait, where's your truck?
And then I went to the neighbor's house to let him know, because I grew up on a farm. I wanted to let him know, like, sorry, I just took down your fence, told him what happened. And he said, for anyone's ever destroyed my fence over the years, you're the only person I think that, of course, it was an accident. Usually most people did it to bomb around in the field. But you're the only one who actually has come to my house, knocked on the door, had a conversation, and apologized. Don't worry about it. I'm like, well, again, I grew up on a farm, and if someone did that, like, I was taught to, like, if you accidentally go into someone's field, you're to go see the farmer to tell them.
With 2 or 3 lengths of chain, the old dually, drug her right back out.
Yeah.
There's nothing.
And no damage to the truck.
Yes,
no damage to me or the bike.
Yeah,
And
I imagine sitting on the bike, just
holding on
just
like
holding
this,
on
and
to
I'm
the brakes, right? And the truck ain't stopping.
Yeah, and then that
Shit your
year, and the
pants.
crazy thing was, so on that, because
You put some miles on that Dodge. That Dodge was a legend of a truck.
yeah, well, I mean, it already had 300,000 or more than that before I got it, and I got it like in the fall of 05. And the crazy thing was, because you can remember this, after the Riverglade race, I could do a burnout with that thing, like without having to hit the brakes. Like, and we went out to Truro for whatever reasons, not going to mention them. And it just finished downpouring because remember that Riverglade race, it was dry as can be all the way through, and we're like an hour away from home, and it downpoured for 2 hours. And you're like, Ben, I need you to drive. Yep, not a problem. And it just stopped raining. I'm like, Robert, as we're pulling on to the main, like number 2 here, I said, Robert, watch this. And I put it in first gear and just floored it. And she starts spinning, and I bang her up the gears, and she didn't grab traction until 140, and she kicked pause during that time. And you look at me like, what? Because you weren't expecting that old Dakota with a little V6 to do the same thing your race truck would do, you know, full, like built, right? And anyways, that Dakota, by the time I had to retire, the floor on the passenger side was rotted through. And every Dodge vehicle I've ever owned, I've never killed a motor, never killed a transmission, but the things have always rotted to death before I got rid of them.
Yep.
So out of the 3 American brands, I've always been a Dodge fan. But my last Caravan turned me away from American vehicles for a very long time for reasons that.
Caravans can't keep transmission in them.
No, I never cared. It wasn't the transmission. I never had transmission problems. It was constant, like every time I go over an ocean. Oh, great. I got to replace a control arm. Great.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
So I was like, yep, get me a Japanese vehicle. Just like the ATVs, they'll be reliable.
Yeah, that's right. That's what Drive Toyotas.
And that's why I drive my Hyundai. It's taking me to California and back with no problems. So there you go. But yeah, no, then after...
So that 300EX, what did... So Ray ended up putting a cam and a piston in it.
Yeah, we put a piston.
And I thought he did the head, too.
He did the head. Put a stage 2 cam in, but I didn't realize because I was still learning like engine maintenance things. Like once you start building a motor, instead of running that Castrol 10W40 I used to get at Napa, okay, I got to actually spend $20 on a liter of oil, not like $5.
Right.
And the valve, and also the air-cooled Hondas. When you started beefing up the motors, especially with the webcam camshafts, you have to get their hard-wheeled rockers because the stock rockers don't handle the more power built. So.
A lot more heat.
A lot more heat and whatnot, especially with the air cooled, right? So I ended up having to order a stage 3 cam, but send the stage 2 cam because with webcam, you got to send the cam for an exchange. It's not like hot cams where you just order it from you and away you go.
Yeah, right.
So I didn't get to race for 3 weeks in that summer. Me and Andrew Van Hatten, we put it together. Well, he put it together. We actually had, I had a jet kit.
He's pretty good, eh?
Oh, very awesome guy,
He's pretty
right?
deadly, eh? Yeah.
Yeah, and I had the jet kit, maxed out the main jets, maxed out the pilot jet in that jet kit, and it was still running hot. So he had to take a drill, like the smallest drill you could get, and drill out the, because if not, it was running cool enough when you had mid throttle.
That thing was a monster.
And then as soon as I got it out, I was running my practice tire.
Did we go drag racing somewhere with it?
Nope. We never did drag racing together.
With that 300EX?
Never.
Man,
we went to Salt Springs.
Yeah.
And I got to ride Brian's Banshee.
Yes.
And you got to take it
out. Oh, Brian Cox.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because you were just recovering at that. You didn't race the first 2 races because you had your broken collarbone.
Oh, that's right. Yes, I remember that. Yeah.
You're like, Ben, can I take that out for a rip? And you're like, yeah. And you come back and you're like, I did not expect your 300EX to be able to possibly slaughter a 416.
Oh, man.
And you're like,
oh, yeah. No, I'm serious. Like, you'd be 4th gear.
So you said you got the
lift her.
Ray did the piston.
Ray did the piston.
Stock bore still?
No, this is the thing. Like, I didn't realize I needed to replace the piston because I was just doing head work, and that was it. But when I brought the motor, Ray calls me like 2 weeks later. He's like, Ben, we're going to have to get a piston because it's just enough, like, clearance that you're going to blow the motor up in about 2 weeks. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And what he did was make it a true 300 because the 300EX used to be a 250X bored out to 282.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, that's right. They
so
were
he made it a true
CCs.
Because I asked him, I didn't want to go 330 because with motocross, when you put on the big bore kits, there is a chance you're not going to get the quick revs. It's going to be that long, and I rather
sometimes that's nice on the motocross. You can keep her in one gear and just let her do her thing.
But I'm a preferable quick rev guy.
Oh yeah.
So when you're hitting a jump, you don't have to wonder am I at the right. I like to know that I'm on the high RPM before I go airborne. Because if you're not, you don't know.
No.
Especially now that I'm sitting down, I want to be in one gear and that's it. And I'll explain why later, right? So Ray did I tell you though, after we did that, so I had the semi-bald practice tires and I go Rogers track, right?
Yeah, the old Tomahawk Hollow.
When it was still just a few jumps. And I come around, I'm used to dump on his track, coming around one of the turns, I had to pull in the clutch, give her a couple shots and dump it, right?
Yeah.
And it started blowing donuts. And I'm like,
We did a lot of riding up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about what happened.
Oh man. Yeah.
So then but the whole shots I was fine. Did well in Mill Hill, finished, and then I did well.
Well,
despite
that's
a
the
crash
thing.
in
When you had
Riverblade.
that motor in the junior class whole shots, like
I
there was
almost got a
guys
whole
that
shot
said
in Fox Hollow.
400s, built 400EXs, 440s, filmed in front of a live studio audience.
Yes.
And you know, there'd be 4 guys on 450s that
We're stock motors.
stock motors, and like we're coming out of the first turn,
And
that
I'm
was
almost
never
there.
last. That was never last coming out of the first, like, you know what I mean, against being on the smallest bike. Well, I laughed. Frederick.
Gavin showed up
Lamtrack.
with Lamtrack showed up with a blaster a few times when I was still
Yes,
before my paralysis. Then he got the DVX, and then he got the 450s, and he had
He
paved
kept
an
it
amazing
going.
career.
He
won the
ran.
New England Championship, and no one was promoting in Atlantic Canada. I'm like, I understand if you're not an
He was
ATV.
from northern New Brunswick.
Yeah.
Like we went ice drag racing against them guys
Yeah.
and stuff. Like
So, but
great
yeah.
guys.
So then a few weeks, and then I finished 10th overall in points. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna do the fall series in 300EX. My brother had me lined up for a plastic welding job through a friend of his. I didn't have to work some winters. I'd make 50 grand a year. And at the time in 2006, 50 grand a year is like
money back
you're
then.
balling.
Yeah.
Fuck,
balling.
You're right. Yeah.
And because Carl was getting out of ATV, he stuck around for 2 more years. But Carl was going to buy Alex's, what was Alex? He ended up racing LTR for a bit. He was a sick rider.
Moreau.
He made Damon
From
look slow for a
Quebec.
bit.
From Quebec.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because we had some
yeah.
of the Quebecers, for whatever reason, make all the trek down here. And I'm like, now
Well,
I
that's
think-
because they couldn't win in Quebec.
or they were just so or they were so close to New Brunswick, it didn't make sense for them
No,
to race in
that's-
Quebec.
that's right,
That's
that's
what
right, that's
I
right.
don't know. But either way.
Yeah, no,
'Cause
there
he
was
was gonna
Alex
buy
Moreau. There was another guy. I remember one of my first races that I went to.
Billy
River
LeMay.
Clay.
No, he came in later.
Trevor Holland.
Oh yeah, he raced the 426 hybrid.
Yes,
and
it
then
was like a Laggers frame with the
and then his
426.
buddy with the 250R
motor.
that had the leggers just like
But
Glenn.
but
he went in the
But there
pond.
was somebody with him. Somebody showed up with a Cannondale.
And he actually ended up winning Montreal Supercross. That was a
The
crazy thing.
Cannondale.
Yeah.
The Cannondale guy that come to Riverglade that year. Like you remember.
I don't remember. It was before my time.
Yeah, well, not very. If it
was
was,
the year
it was
before.
like the year before. Like, yeah, the year
But-
before. Because I was like, holy fuck, a Cannondale.
What
Yeah.
year was this again?
So 2006, and we're just about to talk what happened. So I was gonna, like, my brother had me lined up. I was gonna buy Carl's quad that was ready to race, like everything Elka's, Coney.
Carl Coney. Who the fuck asked me the other day, who was the guy that we used to race with? Fucking Samson sponsored him.
Yeah.
Where was he from?
Quebec originally. He's now living in Cold Lake. Like he's
Okay.
retired military and everything. But
Okay.
Carl was an amazing guy, and he looked like
He was a cool guy.
and he
eh?
checked on me after my paralysis, and he knew, like, the idea was, okay, I'm gonna buy his quad for $8,000, and considering what was done to it, I should have been paying more.
Well,
It's
he
like-
had a fucking near full built 450R.
and he had Alan Arms.
And it was an ER, electric start one.
no kickstart one.
It was a kicker, yeah.
and he
okay.
did get an ER after the fact.
I remember him with an ER.
But
yeah.
he had Alan Armstrong put the motor together, and sometimes it's good and bad to have a car builder build your motors, but
No,
don't let
they-
them do your head work, because
Anything
car
else?
work, as you know, you got to have the ports smooth, but small engines you need it to be rough, right? So you got to be. But Alan, I think, knew not to do that. But anyways, I knew to buy.
Anything them Armstrongs touch works fucking deadly.
You're right. There's a reason.
Fucking
Actually,
right,
crazy
man.
enough,
As
I
they
was
say, the
going to get them
horsepower
to
comes
help
from
with
the
my business
valley.
project that failed. But anyways, so I did that. But what happened was, so I did the Lawrencetown ATV exhibition because that's how I got started in racing, because I saw that was my first type of racing. I wanted to do that. And I finished 10th out of 40 people. Like, everyone's on Banshees, 400Xs, Z400s, 450s.
This is at Lawrencetown.
Lawrencetown.
Yeah.
300 EX.
And I got 10th out of 40 on that 300EX.
Yeah.
And because I was going to go to Bert's Corner for the first time, I just needed someone to drive me because I didn't trust the Dakota to go past.
Oh man, that's
past-
a long drive up there.
Yeah, but
that's
I
a
didn't,
long
I
fucking
just didn't
drive.
want to try. It's not that I didn't want to take the Dakota past Salisbury. Let's just face it, right?
Oh yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
just in
yeah,
case
yeah.
I break.
Uncharted territory
Sure.
then, yeah.
And it's, of course, we don't have, like, we had cell phones, but it's not like what we have now, right?
No,
So,
that's
like,
right,
I could
yeah.
have been left on the side of the road for how many hours? So, anyways, I go to this new track out in, I think it's on the old Barnes Way to Truro. You know where I'm talking. I forget the name of it, but they had the pork farm, And it was a 3-day-old track, but what
Green
attracted...
Hill Acres.
Green Hill Acres.
So it would have been in South Rawdon, Lakelands, or like
Yeah,
South
I just remember
Rawdon.
when I did the drive, because the only
Green
thing
Hill, I guess, is the area that they call it.
Yeah. But I
feel
see
like I've
the
been
only...
to that track.
It was a pig farm or a pork farm.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they wanted to get into it because they saw it as a good business opportunity. They just... What did them in was two things. They tried to charge a $500 fee, because to us, that's outrageous. But now you look back at it, now... That's what you pay per month to go ride in the States for a month in the States.
That's tracks around here charging that. Like,
But
you
at
know
the
what I mean,
time,
for
we thought that
passes,
was too much, right?
You know.
But what attracted me was they had a 75-foot table triple and a 70-foot step down. And because I didn't get to work on my track that year, I was trying to find big jumps.
It was
I think I've been
It was
there. I
big.
think-
But what happened was...
It was kind of on the side of a hill, and
think
there was
I
a
know
little
what you're
gully, and
talking
then it
about.
kind of went up the other side of the field. Like it was.
So I come out to the track, sign my waiver and everything, and I'm, warming up. And the first lap, I skipped this one jump because I come to find out after what happened. Basically, a 65 parent helped build the track, but made all the jumps, like the faces like this, so their kid on their 65 could clear just about everything, right? Instead of being nice and safe and everything. So the second time, I got to put it in fourth gear, because if I keep it in third gear, I'm going to bounce off to the rev limiter that I might throw a fucking crank. That's how big, how big that run-on was, right?
Oh man, yeah.
But the thing was, it was only a 30-foot jump. So I come into it half throttle and then give her the jam at the end. And that morning I put on the swing arm skid plate, because Dad's paying for the parts, and I'm trying to not have him to replace rotors and sprockets on non-race days. And because that track was all rocks, so one bottom out, and you're going to have no rotor or no sprocket left, let's face it.
That's right.
And I came up short on the jumping because I ran a stock rear shock in 300X. When it bottomed out and rebounded, and Damon Baker said this too, we did a theory. When it bottomed out and rebounded, that swing arm skid plate fetched on the top of the landing, and it threw me over the handlebars. And the only thing I never got a concussion. The only thing I'm hazy on was it was the second or third flip of the ATV lawn darting on me, because it flipped 6 times. And it lawn darted right here on me, never knocked out. I was in a state of shock for 2 minutes, checked my neck, okay? I can feel my neck. My back's broken. So I know my race season's done. Yeah. And
This was on a Sunday.
On a Sunday, the morning after Lawrencetown, right? Getting ready for the race the next weekend, right?
Yeah.
Trying to get a ride to that race, right? Like, I'm putting feelers out.
Yeah. I remember that Sunday evening.
So that
got a hold of me.
Yeah, so half an hour later, into the hour-long ambulance wait, is when I couldn't feel my legs. And I'm just like, oh, crap. And that's when I started freaking out, right? It took an hour for the ambulance to get there. They take me to Windsor Hospital, and I thought I could move my legs just like this. And they're like, no, nothing's happening. Dad's waiting for me. I had to call Mom once they told me I had to go to Halifax, because that was honestly the worst part, because that's Mom's biggest fear. I was going to get seriously hurt on the ATV. Dad, we all knew the risk,
I think
right?
all parents of any kids that run ATVs. I mean, I feel that one, right? Like,
but then I come find out that the only thing that was annoying about the whole situation, they asked me 100 times in 10 minutes if I wore a helmet. And I looked at them and I said, guys, you are not allowed to enter a racetrack without race gear.
You don't know Ben, right?
Well, I have autism, right? So don't ask me the same question 3 times. Or or you're going to get, like, so anyways, they come to tell me I'm paralyzed, chest down, I'll never walk again. Let her go, boys. Let her go. That's my thought of the situation. And of course, I don't do drugs or anything. And just because it's been a long day and the amount of painkillers I have. And again, with the autism, sometimes I'm not processing everything right away. And I look at him, so when am I going to walk? When am I going to race? And neither. And I'm like, he's like, why don't you do this? And I'm like, yeah, no thanks. I'm going to go race with my friends. And I also thought the spinal cord, so I'm paralyzed chest down, right? And I thought the surgery they're going to do a week later once the swelling died down was going to help me walk. And then when I come to the realization 24 hours later, I'm never walking again, that's when I had a little bout of depression. And I do have depression now, and it was diagnosed in the fall. And it stayed away for quite a while. And what saved me was honestly mentally, other than you guys being amazing friends and everything, and I really appreciate that to this day, was my surgeon the next day. Because he's arguing with me that I can go get on not 4x4, but a 450. Yeah. He shows me pictures of Ricky James on a 250F or 250F CRF adapted, and that
I remember you showing me those pictures too.
And that was my saving grace, because I was starting to transition. Okay, I'm going to be a mechanic, or, well, I guess I'm not a mechanically inclined, so I got to figure out how to run a race team and design like parts. Because I can design them, I just can't build them, right? And then he saved me from doing that. And the next year, I knew I needed to get a 450 out. So I sold my 300EX.
Yeah.
But Andrew McKinnon put together a stock 450.
That's right.
And I
McKinnon pulled the big move there.
And I bought it from him. We had to adapt it. So the first thing was Glenn Baker's shop. They did a specialized seat so I wouldn't get pressure sores. Yeah, I'm dealing with one right now. Got to lean here. Anyways, did that. Put the knee blocks in because I learned from a guy on a Raptor. If you don't have anything around your legs, as someone with my level of paralysis, you could burn your leg on the exhaust. And I had Andrew build a heat shield.
saying that, yeah. I seen the pads when I was looking at the photos there.
And we built a heat shield for the header, so again, wouldn't burn my legs.
Oh, we were pulling up pictures. I was trying to pull up pictures on your Facebook the other night when he was over, and I was showing him. I'm like, check out all the different stuff on this bike.
And then I learned about the Recluse clutch, but I ran the original model, so when I got used to the 450 by 2008, I was smoking plates left, right, and center.
Yeah.
I was going to get the next level up, but by the time I finally smoked the pressure plate for good in 2008 or 2011, I said, yeah, no thanks.
Yeah.
I'll just stick to manual clutch and see how this goes. So then we did that, and it took almost a year. We got it by the summer, but thanks to you and Scott Lockhart, because Scotty was the Motovan rep. Because
Scotty was good to us, man.
Man, he was amazing.
Scotty was good
amazing
to
guys,
us,
and rest in peace, Brad.
I swear, yes. Yeah, really, Scotty, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But because Motovan sold in stock the Pengal kill switch.
Okay, yep.
But the electric shifter was only on their drag racing catalog.
What was?
But you had to.
What was it called?
Electric shifter. It was for motorcycles, though.
Yeah, what was the...
So that's how you ship the...
Pingle?
Like
Pingo, yeah.
Yeah.
Because Damon, only a few people... A lot of us ran the Pro Start or those... I'm guilty of it.
Recluse clutch. So automatic clutch with a...
Button shifter.
Air shifter, electric shifter?
Electric. I cooked it in about less than 2 years because of all the mud. Because again, it was made for on-road street.
So couldn't you possibly taken something off like one of the...
No.
I guess no, because they weren't even
They
really
were built
big
in the
back
motor.
then too, right?
Yeah.
Well, they were built in the motor.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
So they wouldn't work. What a friend of mine from Oregon does, and you can still get them from him because I could reach out if I wanted to. And I was going to do it. It just never came to fruition because I switched. We'll talk about it later. Was he had the cable, like you put on 2 clutch levers on the clutch side.
It looked like a hot start lever.
But no, it was a full clutch lever.
Yeah,
and
right.
You would take clutch cables and put it on the shifter, and you pull one to shift up, pull the other to shift down. Okay. And he ran a stock clutch in the process. And he did that, and I was like, okay, this is... And the nice thing is, you would just when you order it, order spare cable. So if you break a cable, bing, bang, boom, no...
That's a cool idea.
I was going to do it, but I just never got to doing it. Yeah. But the cool thing was when the electric shifter worked, it was awesome. So
just hold her wide open and
bang, bang. We set it up so we could do that. So one time, me, Andrew Deal, and TJ Brown, we went out for a ride, like to get ready for race season, even though, because I was getting ready for Redbud that year, in 2008. But anyways, we practiced our hole shots on the McPhee Road.
Yeah.
And I actually beat them a couple times, and that was when Andrew got the KTM just the same time you did.
Yep.
So then in 2007, go back, we set it up. I rode around. I didn't have the Recluse at the time, or the shifter, but I had everything else to get myself strapped in, and I rode around the yard because I needed to. I'm like 10 months post-paralysis, so I looked at Dad, I'm like, Dad, I got to get out and ride for 5 minutes, like 10 minutes. Let's see how this works. And the next weekend, I made the announcement on Atlantic MX, and everyone's just like loving the fact I finally got out to ride and proved a lot of people wrong. I said, okay, I'm going to Roger's track next weekend. I got a hold of Roger. Roger, we're meeting up, and you just happen to come the next day. I went out on Saturday, come out Sunday. You come out, and I'm in 4th gear because Roger's track at that point, it was a 5th gear track on a 450.
Oh, it's
there was no,
it was on the
there was
side
hardly
of the
any
101
jumps. It was like
with
a
new exits going in, just past Colebrook.
Yeah.
Okay.
There used to be a motocross track there for years. Roger was there
because he built the jumps only by shovel initially, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of the track was truly, it was like, think of it as a TT track with jumps.
Okay, yep.
So if you wanted to know, or going to mud rooters with small jumps, basically.
Okay.
I never got to ride mud rooters, but
I never been to mud rooters either. That was
So Robert can tell you, I was going around that track, 4th gear, tapped out, staying and not stalling it. And Robert finishes and it's like, Ben, you don't even look like you got paralyzed out there.
Like,
And then
legit,
we had comments
like,
when I got the
yeah.
first set of photos on the new track we built, and people were like, "Dude, you got to stand up because they're from Ontario, don't even know what's going on."
Yeah, oh yeah,
and
no, you got to
Robert's like-
stand up when you
and
jump.
it was the coolest
I'm like,
comment.
No, bud, like,
You can't.
And it was one of the coolest comments ever on the internet about my riding was, you said, if you didn't know Ben's paralyzed, you wouldn't know when he's out on the quad.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that was like something that like
Yep.
dug deep to me because it's like,
well, fucking
Well, I
right,
know just
man.
from
Well,
looking
because,
at the
again, at
photos,
that
it's hard to
ideal
even
for a lot of
tell, like you really got to look at
I
it.
was showing him
And it
pictures
wasn't
of Red
really-
Bud, and he's like,
Like any
What
photos
the
that your
fuck?
face on, you
Look at
can't
the
tell.
air.
You can't tell at all.
until the fact I'm airborne and I'm not
Yeah.
standing up.
So
Yeah.
I gotta. So what was the feeling like when first time you ever hit like a tabletop or a jump?
Post paralysis,
Yeah.
it was freedom.
Yeah.
It was pure freedom. Then because I ran stock suspension for until I got on Todd's quad, which I'll talk about later.
Todd
Mackey, because I got on his
yes.
quad for Red Bud.
Yeah.
So except for when I landed, every jump did not feel that pleasant because even though stock suspension on the 450s is good, but when you're sitting, it's not.
Not
No,
that good.
no,
No, it's not
Well,
that
that's what I
great.
mean. I gotta
No.
like. Yeah.
That's totally
been
different
So
again,
scary
right?
for you for
and
the
this
first
is
time,
how,
wasn't it?
not to date us, but this is how I got to know Todd Mackey. I learned about him on Dirt Wheels, but he shows up on my people to add on MySpace, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And he just was about to ride, if you remember, the ATV America 12 hours race, like the 12 hours, like it was like a Le Mans ATV style race.
That's pretty
And he
sick.
ran the
That's-
Ironman class. And so Todd has cerebral palsy.
Yeah.
And he decided to start this foundation/team called Ability Riders Tomorrow. And I reached out to him and I told him, I ride. And he's like, what would you love to do? I said, honestly, I want to race a national. I would just love to do it once and I'm completely happy. Because I said, my paralysis has taken my ability away to ever become a pro, but I just want to go on the same race, be at go on the same track the same day as like Digger, Doug Gus. Tim Farr he retired in 2007 from ATV Pro. He still did TT for a year or so, but he was developing the KTMs. Basically I wanted to race with the guys we were reading about and watching on Wavos and KTM.
100%.
And he said, I'll make it happen. And because WPSA was still going, it folded because when we found out we were going to go to Maine, the plan was
WPSA, they had
snowcross and then ATVs and quad
and they
terrain.
had the quad terrain races. This is what
Yeah.
you like. It was like
Outlanders,
And so that'd
Brute
be like
Forces.
what I'd want to be. That's
yes,
what I want to do. I
yes,
want to race
man,
4x4.
yes, and
So-
that didn't last very long. But that was
There
I
were some
remember
shady
Dirt
deals,
Wheels.
that's why.
Well, Dirt Wheels covered it awesome, and like
so
the
did-
pictures and the videos from it was like,
And it-
this is
and it
pure
skyrocketed.
insanity.
And it
Yeah.
skyrocketed
Pure
ATV
insanity.
races because it was on ESPN too.
Yes.
So are they racing?
This
at
is
the
like
same
the
track that you'd be
heydays
racing,
Yeah.
or
of
like
ATV
different?
racing.
Like factory
right?
racing, everything. And
Yeah. There
I
is
said-
no factory involvement no more in this.
except for
stuff.
Yamaha. Yamaha
Yeah.
is still involved.
Yeah. Well, they're the only fucking 450.
Exactly. That's why I want.
Doesn't Honda?
That's why I still would
Honda
ride.
doesn't make a 450 anymore. That's right. Yeah, no.
So once I found out, Todd didn't realize, like me and him didn't realize how far away Illinois is, and he was going to drive as closest one was to Maine. It was
Yeah.
going to be the first like national at Maine, and I was like, who?
What's the track there? MX 330?
No, there was MX-27, but this was a different one.
Okay.
It was a different one, because anyways, I said, okay, who wants to go to the States? And I just happened to be at your house. I'm like, Robert, I just found out last night that WPSA opportunity is not going to be in Illinois. It's going to be in Maine. Do you want to go? And you're like, hell yeah, Ben. I'm going to race my 450 and I'm going to race quad terrain. And we all had the plans. We were making the plans. And then about a month or two later, or basically
It almost happened.
it almost happened.
Yeah.
And 2 rounds in 2008. So all the factories are using the ATV Nationals at the time as the tune-up for WPSA because it did a complete. WPSA became the series, and Nationals was kind of like if you weren't a pro.
Because they were getting the ESPN coverage.
right?
Okay.
Right? So, it made
So-
it bigger.
Yeah.
Right? It's all about
And what they
media.
ended up
Yep.
doing was
Right?
for the guys who
100%.
skipped Nationals in the first 2 rounds,
Yep.
they made four races almost like a triple crown. Like you didn't do 3 motos, but you got extra points for those
Okay,
4
yeah.
rounds. And I said, Robert, I hate to tell you, we're not doing WPS because I told you before you even got to find out, and you're like, oh man. But Todd's like, don't worry, Ben. I'm going to bring you out to Red Bud. I'm like, we'll fly you. So I'm like, okay, what do you need me to bring? He's like, just bring what you think you can put on a hockey bag, like in a gear bag. And we did it. And he didn't message me on Facebook 2 days. Like it was on this weird messaging way through Facebook because I thought last minute I had to fly the date. I thought it was 2 days later on the flight. Got there, worked out, and I raced Red Bud. And I just raced the arena cross in PEI because the cool thing, like I wasn't allowed to race, or I was fighting to race in CMRC at the time, right?
Let's talk about that.
Okay,
So you come back, man. Like I
Just a ride.
remember going down to Caledonia exhibition with you and fucking like
I
you
lost it.
smacking the table, the
And
teeter
Rick
totter. They had a
made fun of
teeter
you.
totter. Oh, Mo man made fun of me. So what the hell's the matter with you? Ben's fucking out jumping you tonight.
Didn't
he said.
Muscadaba do that
Oh,
one time?
yeah.
Didn't they have teeter-totter or
Yeah,
something at
they
the
did
Muscadaba?
that.
Oh,
So
yeah.
the organizer of that is friends with my friend Ricky Balzer.
Yeah.
And I did the first one on the Recon, and I
Yep.
beat these four guys that were locals, had DS6 450s or 650s, sorry, and because Can-Am didn't do their 450s till like 4 years later.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking like I smoked them on my Recon, but again, let's face
And
it,
this
those
was a 250
DS650s,
Recon, right?
They weren't a tight track.
basically if
machine.
they weren't on a fire road, forget it.
Yeah, that's right.
Or
That's
a
right.
pit. But anyways, so Chris did that. So I did the exhibitions. I did the Lawrencetown. I did okay in Caledonia, even though the funny thing is, Chris Krause's dad was the announcer, and he's explaining that I'm paralyzed, right? He's a paraplegic, and the locals are like, "What's a paraplegic?" And Chris' dad could hear in the crowd, like when I wasn't revving it,
Chris is yelling.
and he's like, "He's the guy in the wheelchair." And
Everybody's
everyone's
like, "Oh."
he's like Timmy." And I'm not talking South Park Timmy. I played wheelchair basketball.
Yeah.
And one of my teammates who is from Caledonia, his name's Tim.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just in it for the parking, boys. That's a fact. Secretly at night, I fight crime on foot.
It's like Timmy, not the South Park one. I'm sorry. That was funny.
Yeah.
Hey, man, I didn't lose my sense of humor. If anything, I gained it up on your else's.
No. That's
But,
awesome.
But anyways, long story. So then, I was doing the exhibit, but I was given a list of things to do by the region. Like first was to get a neck brace, because the neck braces just came out like months after.
The
my
Leah
truck.
braces.
And I'm a firm believer. I don't know why guys don't ride with them now. Like they were hot, and I think what it was is when guys were breaking their collarbones. Oh, I'm missing a season. I'm looking at them like, so what would you rather have, broken collarbone or wheelchair?
Yeah.
Right.
Not that I'm against my paralysis,
Yeah.
but a broken collarbone long term is a lot cheaper than using a wheelchair for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Let's
That's
just
right.
face it, right?
That's right.
And then I was told, get a chest protector. Okay, I got the now they got something way better, but I got the 661 body armor. And Andrew McKinnon said if he didn't have that, he was going to, he had a bad crash, I think, at Riverglade, and he broke his handlebars.
Oh, I remember that.
He said if he didn't have that, he would have been in rehab with me, like learning how to wheel around himself, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was told to do that, get a clearance from my surgeon. I begged my surgeon. I told him, like, dude, I need this because I want to go out with my buddies, not just ride. I want to be on the racetrack with them. Because it's one thing to go out and ride, but I wanted to compete, right?
That's right. That's
And
right.
then
It's nothing like going to the races, hanging out for the day, get out for your moto. It don't even matter how the fuck you do. You got out there.
Yeah.
Right?
And then I was told, go out and you got to do a lap at a CMRC regional track. And I wanted to do it at Arena Cross. And Richard backed out like literally last.
The Sackville Arena Cross.
Yeah.
Yeah.
won that, but you got
I
like
still came out and
Yeah,
watched,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And I don't know if I brought the 450 out, but everyone could hear the rage in my voice. Like that.
Oh, yeah.
And
So
You were
you
there,
got all the
man.
way there. And
Yeah.
because Art
yeah.
Smith, but Art Smith is like, who owned Clyde River at the time. He's like,
Yep.
Ben, I'm going to let you do a lap on my track to prove that you can do it. Because
Mm-hmm.
I know you can, and I want you on the circuit. You deserve it. You've done everything everyone's asked. So, but it rained that day. So he didn't know if I could, he got me to do the 50cc cutoff part because he thought I might get stuck and, whatever, right?
That's fine.
I did the lap, and everyone's like, "Oh my god!" At that point, lots of people saw. We went out and rode, but
Oh,
again,
yeah.
for the people that didn't see me ride yet, it's
That's
like.
right.
And then we did
Which was the majority.
Which
like,
was the majority.
because the quads at the races, we were definitely the minority.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And then I got to do PEI Arena Cross because the PEI guys always had a fight with the regional.
I never made it to the PEI Arena Cross.
So I did it because they wanted
That
me
was
out
a good
there.
time.
It
eh?
was an amazing time.
You guys had blast.
I had a
over there,
blast,
I heard.
and,
was it Jordan over the little Jordan? He
Little
was just-
Jordan.
yeah.
And so Brad Lockhart, Devin Strang, and Johnny Montes were all there, right?
Yeah.
And they changed the track a little bit because at first, I can't do whoops when I'm strapped in because it's going to jar, I could lose I'm going to jar my back. But these ones, I could go half throttle, blah, 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 blah. And then they made them deeper because it wasn't good enough for the dirt bikes. And then they made it to the point I had to idle. Now, when I was idling and trying to get out of the boys' way, because I was the only non-pro that day at Arena Cross, because And
Who all went over there
so
that time?
Chris, Deal, TJ. No, TJ didn't race because of some extracurricular activities when I was using the bathroom the night before at the local bar involving the old fisticuffs.
Okay.
Hurt his hand, couldn't race, so he missed the whole weekend.
That sounds about right.
Yep.
Sounds like TJ.
Damon, Glenn, and maybe Brentley, I forget, because Kenny was there, but of course, Kenny was never bad on maintenance, so it's like one weekend he'd show up, the next weekend he wouldn't race because the Cowie might be blown up or whatever, because he didn't have bad luck with that Honda until he got the Curtis Sparks motor. Then he had some problems with it, and then once he got the Cowie, we all know Cowies.
What did he do? He sent a motor like right down to the States to Curtis Sparks.
Yeah, he sent the Honda motor to Curtis Sparks.
Your motor.
No.
No, the Kenny Robinson.
Okay,
yeah.
Well, anyways, they're all there, and I didn't realize. So we're doing the moto, and of course I knew to get out of people's way, and usually where everyone lapped me was on the whoop section, and I did a shoulder check to make sure I can go forward. But what I didn't realize, as I'm idling and I'm turning my head, but because I'm paralyzed chest down, I'm moving my shoulders to do the shoulder check, and I just happened to turn my handlebars as Chris was slightly lose control, but not, and we just happened to collide, and I cost him a podium spot, and I felt bad. It's not intentional. Like, I was just out there and then when Damon lapped me the last time, he put me in the hockey boards. We thought it was hilarious, right? Because I said, I know you're going to lap me, but I'm going to make you work to get around.
Damon's a hell of a rider, man. He
Damon
was fast.
Honestly, this is just for people to put this in perspective, because I got to race in the States multiple times and be in the States. Damn right.
Yeah, boy.
He was pro-am speed. And that's not slow by any means a stretch. If you're, honestly, like, to look at our region, I was a C-class rider. No questions asked. C-class hero. Me and Nick Mosier, who's now retired. We make jokes because we raced together in Red Bud.
That's what, like, when I went down.
I said, we're C-class heroes. Like, our junior class, like, not the slower, like, not the beginner guys, but, like, top 5 and up would run C-class.
Yeah.
And pro was
B-class, maybe.
I would say C, like, the fast,
higher C-class?
Like, the top 2 C-class guys up to pro-am. That was the disparity between skill, right? Like, yes, Glenn, when he raced, he could race pro American, but by the time the 450s came out, then Glenn would have been a pro-am guy as well. Like, nothing against Glenn. It was just, that's the reality, because, when you went, so I'll ask you about your Loretta's experience after my Red Bud, but just to get your perspective on when you watched.
Loretta's was great. It was a fun time. I wish I had took my bike.
You're right.
Yeah, no, but I said the same thing. I said, man, these C-class guys, I bet you I could run with them. B-class, I said, fuck, I probably have them for a couple laps, but I don't know, man. They're pretty fast.
So when I got to so then about a week or two later, I flew out to Red Bud.
Best thing about them AMA Nationals, holy fuck.
You're allowed 3 laps.
Pogos this big, they have steak on a stick.
Yeah, well, that was Loretta Lynn's. It's Tennessee.
Funnel cakes, oh my God.
You're in Tennessee, so that's why. So in the States, you're allowed to race 3 classes. And yes, it costs you about $275 US for a weekend, not for your fees, not your driving, parts, all that stuff. Yeah. And
Just
I looked at it as like, okay, it's more expensive than an Atlantic race weekend.
Oh, fuck yeah.
But what I looked at was, I get 3 practices on Friday, a practice Saturday morning, and a practice Sunday, and I got 2 motos, and a lap takes a minute for it, depending on the track and shape of it, minute 45, up to 3 minutes, depending on the size. And all I could value was, as a person who thinks economically, I rather spend 1 weekend in the U.S. than doing a local race, because I'm going to get all the seat time in the world. Whereas, nothing against our region, it was like you show up, you get max half an hour, and you think to yourself, if you drive 3+ hours to a track, I spent way more time on the road than I did at the track. But with an American race, you spent the whole weekend at the track and less time on the
off-road racing in this end of the world in general. Like, you go to the BF races.
You don't get
you have a bad day in the drag, so you just got 2 runs down a 200-foot track, and you're done on the trailer.
But you get what I'm saying,
right?
Like,
Then a couple slalom runs, and our slalom runs are averaging 1.5 minutes as a big slalom.
Yeah, and you don't get any practice runs or anything like that,
no,
right?
Really, like, you could have as much as 5 minutes driving time for 6 hours of towing time.
Yeah.
That's it's crazy. Right?
So I did Red Bud, and that's when I learned about transponders. And I think they're the greatest thing ever for scoring, because you don't have to worry about like you said,
I couldn't imagine being in one of the people in this, like back in the day, for
trying
doing
to
the
score
scoring.
us. Now it's
Oh,
computerized and
man.
everything. It makes life easier.
Yep.
So what
Big
happened
money,
was
though.
I smoked the
Back
clutch
then.
again. I kept smoking my Recluse in 08. I smoked it on Todd's machine, Todd's Mackie. So we took all my adapter parts, put it all my parts that I needed to ride, except for the electric shifter, because I just said, Todd, we'll just put her in third gear and away we go.
Mm-hmm.
And I ended up having to run a stock clutch with that shorty lever. And I'm telling you, to pull that clutch with a stock clutch with that little finger lever. Whew, basically all I had to do was pray that I did not
That's
stall.
why you got the guns, boy.
Yeah.
Fucking right.
And I was skinny at that time. I was a weak boy at that point still, because I didn't care about nutrition or training. Like the bike training I cared about, but I didn't, and I cared about weights, but I didn't understand compared to now how much nutrition, like I
Proper
wish back
diet
then when
and
we
all that
raced,
stuff,
if
yeah.
we didn't eat all the French fries, drink the beers and everything,
Oh,
we would have been killed. Like, no offense, but you know
Oh,
what I'm
yeah,
saying.
hey, leave me alone.
But you know what I'm saying? We would have killed it, right? Like, you know, we would have had those 12-minute motos would have been like a breeze,
Avocado
right?
toast and shit.
But I mean, that was the other thing, because I knew I was at a disadvantage sitting down. So what I did leading the whole time, my whole Paralyzed career was, when you guys go out, we'd ride together, and I'd spend an extra, 5-10 minutes on it while you guys took a break. I'd be out there for an extra 5-10 minutes, because I knew I'm not going to be like as fast as you guys, but come last lap, if you guys are barely holding on, I'm just like, yep, all right, go and pass you, right?
Yep.
So then I was, this is the difference also, because there were so many people. They had to run, like for Red Bud, both C classes I did, they had to run 2 motos, and then for the Moto 1, they ran 2 heats and used them as qualifiers, and then Sunday was the main.
Okay.
Treated like Supercross, right?
Yep.
Physically, I was in the top 10, but 2 guys behind me just happened to squeeze me out on lap times. But all my friends that were there, that saw me on internet, they were like, man, we knew you could ride fast, but we didn't realize how fast you were going to ride. And I impressed them, and then, so I didn't make the main on Sunday, but what happened was, and I was okay with it, but Todd made it work, and Amy Ritchie, the owner of Red Bud, is amazing. She got me in the KTM industry class. I didn't get to race KTM, but I got to race with Tim Farr and Shane Hitt and Austin Wilson,
Holy shit.
Aaron Mayer, and a bunch of guys testing.
These are all big names.
All big names, testing out. Well, Aaron, I don't know if he got to ride KTM or he just rode his LTR. But the idea was, it was an industry race, 1 moto, and they are all, with the exception of Shane Hitt and Tim Farr, everyone on the magazines, whatever, are testing out the KTM 450 SX and 505 SX.
Okay.
And the track remember we talked about how Kingston beat you up? Kingston did not hold a candle to Red Bud. It's a mix of sand and clay. So their acceleration bumps, they weren't rounded. They are square-edged holes. And if you hit that the wrong way, because I can attest to this watching, Cody Gibson, one of the greatest Pro-Am riders that quite couldn't put it together. Sorry to say it, Cody, but it's facts. But you're an amazing guy. Love you, brother. He was one of those. There's some guys, it just doesn't translate to pro, right?
No.
Well,
man,
he must have hit that
big.
acceleration bump at 3rd or 4th gear tapped on a Walsh-built LTR, because he was riding for Mike Walsh at the time. And he launched himself off the quad, got up, still finished 2nd. And I pulled Cody aside. I was like, Cody, I love you, brother, but I don't want you joining my club. Take it down like a quarter of a notch. And
Did you meet Jeremiah Jones?
yep, met Jeremiah. He let me use his camper to shower in, because I had to rough it that whole weekend, and I needed a shower.
Yeah.
Bad.
Yeah.
And meeting Jeremiah, so I met Jeremiah, Chad signed a helmet, got a bunch of posters for everybody, right? I think I gave you a couple posters.
Yes, yeah.
John and I took a photo. I got Doug
John
Gus.
is actually, I met him in Tennessee, and he's
Doug
just
Gus,
a genuinely nice guy.
And Doug Gus signed a jersey for me, took a photo. And I didn't realize, I'm a little exhausted, but I didn't realize, Doug was kind of quiet, but I didn't realize till now, as a high performance athlete, he was just one of those guys when he's an hour and a half before a race. It's not that he doesn't want to talk to you. It's just he's that laser focused.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize that as a almost 21-year-old, some guys, it's not that we're not approachable.
I know, I get
Oh,
that.
I
No,
get it.
100%.
It's like you're laser focused. It's not that I want to
100%.
talk to you, but I need my space, and I didn't realize that, right? But Joe Bird, I hate to see you suffer, brother, but
I met Joe down there too.
he was one guy that didn't approach me, but hopefully.
Well, he's same idea. He's focused in.
But
man.
I didn't realize that at the time, right?
Yes.
But anyways.
Well, we're assholes. What a bunch of dicks don't want to talk to us.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Yeah.
now you look back, it's like
you look at it.
At that level, you know, that comes with so much.
Yeah.
Well, there's a stress level that comes with that too.
Because at the time, the factory support was high.
Like, and you know, you've got with that factory support, you've kind of got that weight on your shoulders too, and you know, you're just, this is what I got to do. This is what I got to do. You know, somebody coming in talking to you, it's just, I'm sorry, not now, right?
And
it's
then I got to hang out with Kale down in.
I get the same way.
But what was cool was, so like I got to see all those factory machines, and of course they're doing the testing on Dustin Wimmer. Dustin Wimmer, I watched him clinch the title that weekend. Chad comes back from a broken collarbone, wins the whole weekend, the whole bit, right? But I didn't realize how
Chad's still riding and racing.
He just retired.
Yeah.
But he's going to still ride because he just built a new quad. And I was like, he actually came to Quebec after his retirement because his connection. So what I think he's doing, and I'll shoot Chad a message, see what he's actually doing. But he built a 2026 quad. So I got a feeling he's going to do like a tour kind of thing, pick certain rounds, but not race pro class.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But, and a bunch of guys like Nick Janusa, Jeffrey Rosselli, they all retired this year. And Jeffrey, so at Redbud, him and Joel Hetrick were on that Z400 400DX class because back then,
I remember
no one
watching
raced.
that head trick, man, and like he's a little kid on the Apexes.
But I'm telling you, watching him in 2024, I hope.
Him in the last couple of years is just on another
It's
level.
like he's here and Bryce and Brandon are like here, but hopefully they close the gap just to make the racing more entertaining. But when you watch it live, it was fast in 2008, it was fast 2015, and now like when I watched Daytona ATV Supercross was set up like a county fair race with jerk jumps, basically.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
you're not seeing the pure potential out of those guys. And I'd say Joey Norris, who's going to be in a second-year pro, and JJ Landonville, those guys, they're up-and-comers, and they're going to be a deep threat in the next few years, too. And it's going to be interesting to watch. But anyways, get back. So that's the other thing is I got to ride long travel suspension for the first time since Paralysis.
Mm-hmm.
And when I hit that ski jump and hit the other jumps.
He's just clinching.
No, it didn't clinch.
Not bad.
I'm like, man. So then thanks to you, like I knew because of that Redbud,
Yeah.
I scored JB Racing, I just scored Fast Company, so I was waiting for my flex bars, and that was the weekend I got to ride flex bars, and I'm like, what? This is why everyone loves him. Like, but I got all these sponsors because all the parts sponsors. I already had Paramed, and thanks to Johnny Gallagher and Terry Green, I was able to get. I already had Paramed give me 50% off before my Paralysis. Now it's free handguards for life. Still to this day, if I get a quad and I want Paramed, just call, bang, here you go. And I'll get my support that I had prior. Like if I was to jump on a quad today, which is good. But then when I was living here for NSCC and me and you would go rip whatever, I'd leave the 450 here. And unfortunately, trying to get a hold of you at that time was like almost impossible.
Oh, yeah.
So if I brought a couple buddies from dorm, you know, I try to make sure it was just keep it to the same people so that no one's like sneaking around kind of thing.
That's right.
We'd go get my quad and away we go. Because anyways, I said, okay, I got to get long travel suspension. I knew you were getting rid of the Yamaha. Or no, you already had the KTM at that point, but you got to get rid of the Yamaha.
Well, I had
and you decided to
I
part
had
it,
all the stuff pretty well.
but you decided to part it out because it wasn't moving as a full quad.
Right.
And I said, Robert, how much do you want for?
I had two fucking almost complete bikes.
Yeah.
Enough to build a stock one, I think.
You did this. You sold it as a stock machine.
Yeah, my buddy Thane ended up getting everything that you didn't get.
Yeah.
'Cause you got all the good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I sold the Hauser swing arm because I had the JB. So my thing was, I'll run your A-arms that you sold me, but I'll run the JB swing arm out of my sponsorship. And because I already bought a RPM Dominator 2 axle from McKinnon, and let's face it, Durablue's nicknamed Durasnap for a reason. The last thing I need being strapped to an ATV is a Durasnap.
I snapped fucking 4 of them.
So I sold that as well. But I made sure the thing was polished as can be before I sold it, just, you know, to help pump the sale.
I remember one year in Fox Hollow in the bus jump, I almost landed on Andrew McKinnon because he snapped an axle. Then the next year at Fox Hollow in the bus jump, Andrew McKinnon almost landed on me because I snapped an axle, and they were Durablu axles.
Yeah, that's why I didn't want a Durasnap on my 300EX. I was going to get RPM, and everyone's like, "No, Ben, 300X, just get the Durasnap and you'll survive." I'm like, "Okay, fair enough."
Yep.
Fair enough. But
Nope.
anyways, so I got the suspension from you. How to rebuild the full motor on that 450? Did it? I didn't ride for 6+ months, and we got it back together between me and my buddies and Andrew Van Haddam, and me and my friend Steve Kendall with my little S10 and the small trailer Dad bought, so we wouldn't have to load our 4-wheelers on the truck. His dad's mobility was getting as bad, if not worse, than mine.
Okay.
We had a little S10, 3 hours of sleep, and a lot of Red Bull. We drove from Weston, Nova Scotia, so that's in the Annapolis Valley, guys, all the way on 3 hours of sleep to Unadilla Valley, New York. And when you get to New Berlin for Unadilla Valley, it's probably changed now, even though it's not on the ATV circuit. If you didn't have your roaming carrier as Verizon, you had to drive almost 15, 30 minutes from the track to call people. Like,
no service
no
whatsoever.
service. So then that was the thing when they were doing the interviews, and Joel Hedrick just switched Pro-Am and won. The way he was calling his mom on the cell phone during the interview to thank his mom and tell her how the only reason he was able to do it because the Hedricks had Verizon phones, and I think they were the only people on the track that had that weren't factory riders that had Verizon carrier for their carrier. And I just sat there and laughed. But I did Unadilla, like I say, on a very short drive, blew the drive shaft out on the way home. That S10.
Bud. That Bud does dedication.
Yeah. Well, I finished 9th in 4-stroke C.
Yep.
Mind you, I'm not going to deny there was only 2 people behind me. But,
Okay.
but it was still awesome. I love Unadilla. I love Red Bed more. But Unadilla was nicer on the body because it was only clay track. And the cool thing was
fast, eh?
It's fast.
But it's elevation change.
It's like a European track.
Yeah,
so
you're uphill, down a hill,
So
up a
hardly
hill.
any jumps are man-made. They're part of the actual geographics.
Yeah.
And gravity cavity, I would have done the step down into it, but because of how steep the landing was, and I'm strapped to, and again, have no
It's a
abdominals.
different feeling, yeah.
I'm just rolled it because I had to lean back like this going down the, not that I was going to flip the ATV, but I'm pushing back against the handlebars so I don't like get tugged onto the note on the fender, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I'd smoke it up the hill. And at first I'm only pulling wheelies, but by the Saturday motos, I was sending it, not like the pros were, because the pros, when they sent it off that
they would come down in that and click another gear.
and go up and send it, and they'd land almost into the turn. It was insane. But what was different too is they always, in 2008, they started introducing pro-only sections, like that were for the dirt bikes, so they threw it in for the ATVs, for Pro-Ams and Pros,
For
right?
Pro-Ams and Pros, I remember that.
So in the case, the cool thing was, I didn't get to do this, even though I didn't get to do the 40-foot step up, or 40-something foot step up, whatever. Or
well, that's kind of one of the do or die
fuckers,
yeah,
But what I got
man,
was this, you come out of the chicane, and it was a triple step down, and all of us amateurs, or all of us C-class, and I think even the B-class guys, we only doubled it because to try to keep your speed on that chicane, you couldn't do it. So you would blip, 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 and then jammer. And I cleared that double, and it was smooth, and that was awesome. Bam, bam, bam. And the only reason why I never did the sky shot, because again, remember, 6 months with no quad riding whatsoever, and I'm basically breaking the motor.
Sky shot. We're getting a video of that fucking of a pro smacking that fucking.
It's 110. It's 110 feet 10 to tip.
But it's like down the valley, out,
and
it just sends you.
Anyways,
and then it's like a natural downhill on the other side.
And
like
there's more, and if you go over, and if you go over the tip, and if you go past the tip, then you're past.
I've only seen it in videos. I haven't been there.
So one of the guys that I raced with, who rode a Cowie from New England, he overshot it, and didn't land flat, but almost near the bottom and broke his axle. He had to send his dad, and they live in New Hampshire, so I think his dad had to drive like 6-7 hours one way. I forget what it was.
We got spare parts at home. Should have brought them with you.
Well, you never think you would ever break an axle, like an RPM axle. Like I think the only way you break an RPM axle, because I've only seen it in like Fallout movies and stuff, is if you case anything that's 100 foot plus, or flatland.
Yeah.
Like
I swear to God, man.
I can count.
The ATV scene is
so much different than now.
Is so much different than what it used to be.
Yeah, because I think on our accounts, I think we can safely say between the time we raced until 2012, we can count on one hand how many of us witnessed an RPM Dominator 2 axle snapped on record.
Yeah, and that's
like a common occurrence nowadays.
No, it's not. It's just...
No, I mean for just newer modern ATVs, like we're saying, like the new ATVs now are 4x4 race bikes.
Right.
You know what
snapping
I mean?
axle
like that, you're snapping an axle from pure power, right? That's what it is.
But like the class of riders. Now we said this in the other podcast. I think we were talking with
Art,
like with Little Art, and it's back then guys had rugged machines to drive, and nowadays it's like electric start, automatic, full floorboards, 100 horsepower, 1,000 pounds. and you can go fast on them with
The
little to
4x4.
no experience.
Yeah.
But you can also get hurt pretty fucking quick.
Yeah.
Like, but no, the riding scene has changed, and
They still got a
and
4x4 class in the
like
States. for
DVDs
GCC.
aren't a thing like
yeah,
they used to
I
be.
want to
Like,
get. That's what I want to get into. That's
you
what I
know, a
want.
lot of the a lot of the music probably we still listen to. Where'd you find it? On Wavos DVD.
Wavos.
Wes Miller, man.
So I discovered new metal like Korn, Limp Bizkit on Much Music, right?
Oh yeah.
But when it came to Spine Shank, El Nino, actually Slayer.
Yeah.
Slayer, believe it or
Fucking
not.
Slayer.
I got to see them before they retired, by the way, in Heavy Montreal.
That's
And I'm going to go
fucking
see
deadly.
Megadeth, Anthrax for the second time in my life.
I seen a
and
fucking
Exodus.
picture. You were at a concert and
Chair
everybody
surfing
had
during,
chair surfing, man. They had a
during
bunch
Anthrax.
like they had them. Yeah,
And
Anthrax.
it was the
we gotta get that picture.
it was
That's
front
sick
it
as
was
fuck.
front page on the
Yeah,
Montreal
oh,
Gazette.
yeah.
So I've been on the front page for a few newspapers, but the Montreal Gazette's a nationally known newspaper, and I have to laugh. For all the things I could be on a national newspaper front page, it was not sport.
Yeah,
or racing.
it
It was just me having a good
And
time.
being a
Oh,
metalhead,
yeah,
man. Fuck
that's
yeah.
So,
fucking cool as fuck.
So anyways, like we're sitting there like so again, just doing Unadilla, Chad won, and that was an interesting season because when right before Chad switched, like when he switched to K&M that after the season, right? Mm-hmm. Remember, that's my opinion about canned hams.
Oh, I love my Can-Ams.
Well, you got to understand the 450. The 450 wasn't reliable, right? So, but anyways, he's riding for Can-Ham, and he just switched over to that Montreal Supercross because Damon did Montreal Supercross how many times?
Yeah.
Made the main event.
Yep.
Kudos to him because at that point by 2007, 2008, half the American riders would just show up, right? So then you're going to see a real like who's the best Canadian, who's the best American, and can we stack up? And Richard Pelchat and Jasmine Plant did very well. Like let's face it, right?
Man, those guys are Canadian legends.
You're right.
Why is it always the French guys are faster on the quads?
I think
Is it just me, or that's a thing in
I don't
Canada
know. I think
anyway?
part of it is like Damon was.
Maybe they're closer to the. I don't know.
I think it's
what it
being
is.
closer to the States, like to the circuit. It allows them to eat because the thing is, you got to think about it, right?
There's more money up there.
There's more money.
There's more money
and there was
up
more
there.
rate. And I think they dealt with less shit than we did.
Yes.
Like in Quebec and Ontario until that. No, Quebec still does it. Ontario's done the same thing that we've done. But I think what it comes down to is when you're closer to the U.S. and closer to the national series, it makes sense. Like if you think about it, the closest national to us is Bud Creek. So that means you're spending 2 days on the road before you even get to the track. So if you want to go race Bud's Creek this year, right? Mm-hmm. You're going to have to leave on a Monday night or early Tuesday morning so you can get to the track when the gates open 4 o'clock on a Thursday afternoon.
To get in there to get a decent spot,
Not just get a spot or a decent spot.
to be able to get all your practices in.
I was going to say unwind, go for a run, bike ride, just to get rid of what I call drive leg. So I've done more road trips since my paralysis than I care to think about. Mm-hmm. And I have to show up, just to go racing my canoe in Montreal, I need to show up 3 days in advance. And I spend the first day practicing basically getting rid of the stiffness of sitting in my car for a whole day.
Yeah. Yep.
So, like, I get that part. So imagine, right? Like, I think that's part of the reason why Damon and Brentley, like they did with the Odd National, but they want to go commit to it because you'd have to almost live in the States to make it work.
And that kind of, yeah.
And-
that's huge. That's
And
huge,
my friend Brendan
right?
Schofield, and there's some like Hannah, I think Hannah's last name, Cole. You have to live in this, like they live in the States a good chunk of the year. Brendan, like they do. And I mean, Brendan won Loretta's. Kudos to Brendan. Like, I mean, and their family helps me out with a lot of my racing now, right? Mm-hmm. So, but again,
The
race,
ATV guys in the States, they love you.
they do. And
And
that's the other thing is like, I'm
Ben's
not trying
always
to,
calling me or texting me, and he says, "Well, I'm here." And well, what the fuck are you doing there? Well, I'm with these guys. Don't you remember them? Like they used to race quads. Like, so
well, because
what
I'm
the
on my
fuck,
way to,
like,
well, I told you I'm going to stop by these places like when I try to swing in here on
he
my,
keeps telling me. He says,
if you need anything for the Renegade, hit me. If I know
Yes.
when I'm healed up, if I'm going in April as my plan, call Santo because I hooked you up with Santo.
Yep.
Or Power Mad, whatever, and you need things for the Renegade or whatever. I will gladly bring them back.
"Yep."
So you don't have to pay the shipping. Just pay my duty if I get nailed at the
Oh no! Wait, whoa!
Because I'm basically saving you You know what I'm saying,
That's
right?
right. That's right.
I'll save you the time and effort.
But like you've made a lot of connections down there
And
over
it was
the
thanks
years.
to that Red
like,
Bud. It was thanks to Red Bud. Like,
Yeah.
thanks to Red Bud and Unadilla.
But I
got a places
mean,
crash.
no,
Like
no
when I got a
wonder
Pensacola-
they.
Oh, that. And
You're the only
So-
like. How do I put this without
I'm the
sounding? The only paraplegic to
Ever race
go do an
motocross.
ATV AMA national. Like that's fucking huge. Like in
And-
my books, that's fucking
it is.
Right?
And like, I have a friend. I'm not sure if he's still part of the board for Maritime Motorsports Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
You should be in that.
I should be in that.
fucking
Yeah,
right.
you
Well,
should
why?
be,
Like
yeah.
you know, this,
Yeah, you
you
should
know.
be.
I mean, it's different circumstances, this and that. Like you know, or there's a lot of
was about to say,
there's
they
a lot
don't-
of Nova Scotians that have gone, you know,
But I don't think
big
they
in
recognize
racing even
off-road-
currently. Now look, Cole Butcher, right?
Yeah.
He's on
Yeah.
But I don't think they
NAS
recognize motocross, right?
The Craftsman Truck Series.
Yeah, but- yeah.
And that's huge.
Yeah.
That's
You're
that's
right.
amazing, right? And you know,
And I got a lot
but
of friends that race that
here we
stuff.
are, Ben. Ben racing AMA National. You know what I mean?
But it was thanks to Todd.
Right.
If it wasn't
right.
for Todd, I think I would have pulled it off, but not to the same extent. Like, it would have been Unadilla, let's say. It wouldn't have been.
We'll have to get pictures of Todd and everything, man.
Yeah,
You
Todd-
Oh yeah, you got
yeah.
a lot of pictures to send this guy.
Yeah. Well, so yesterday was Joel Hetrick's birthday, and I was showing Laura the photos of Joel. So Todd, he let me race his 450. He raced Joel's practice at 400, which was the year before when Shane hit when he was racing Pro Production. Because remember in 03 and 02, they had the Pro Production and the Pro class. So Pro Production, you raced OEM frame.
Yeah.
And Pro, you could choose to run OEM frame or you raced hybrid frame.
Right.
He was contracted by Suzuki in 03 to run a Z400 in Moto and TT. And that was the yellow one that Todd raced, like I said, was crazy enough, a Curtis Sparks built motor for Joel. It was for Shane.
Yep.
But that's
I
what
remember watching Joel when I was in Tennessee.
and he was racing that Z400, and you're probably thinking like, that kid's on a 400, he's not even old enough to drive, and he's gonna wax my ass probably.
Like this kid's like, well, he would have been
14. No, 15.
No, was he even that old then? He
was
would have been
15
younger
because-
than that then.
So the thing was, he turned 16 when the season
I just
ended,
remember watching him.
because he raced A class in 09 at
Oh,
Unity.
and I still follow it.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
So he was racing A class in 2009, and I think it was either right before I went to Unadilla or when I got to Unadilla, he switched to Pro Am, and that 09 season, him and Cody Gibson were like neck and neck the whole time. And the crazy thing was, so Joel's on a KFX, so is Cody Gibson. Cody's on Walsh products, and Joel's on JB Racing. So, like, for anyone that doesn't know, basically JB Racing and Walsh Racecraft, when it comes to the eastern side of ATV racing, they dominate the market for ATV racing chassis components, minus the
absolutely.
axles. So basically,
swing arms, control arms,
arms,
dampeners, stems,
all
of it.
all of it.
Subframes.
So basically,
right?
and I'm friends with both Jody and Mike. Like, so basically, if it comes down to buying a quad, it's going to be, other than prices.
Who's gonna be the better deal, boys?
It's
Come
not
on.
It's not so much that, it's what is it going to come down? I'd almost have to test, like, I'd have to pick my two quads, beat the guys who are going to sell. I go to a track, test ride, which one's easier for me to ride?
Who's some of your favorite ATV racers
Of all time?
Of all time.
Got to be Chad for first, because he reached out to me, or he got back to me when I reached out to him when I was in rehab on MySpace.
I was always a Chad fan, man.
And because
really,
we
I
have a
was.
similar kind of background, right?
Yep.
He got, except for reverse roles.
He was a football guy.
And I was an
yep.
ATV racer, and I switched to Parasport.
Right.
And then I'd say after Chad, it'd be Cale Downen.
Okay.
We're buddies, right? So
Yep.
and then I'd say it would be Shane Hitt, Tim Farr, Doug Gus. And this is not, I'm trying not to make it a particular order. Joel, Bryce.
There's too many
Too many, but
really.
and Jason Dunkelberger. That's why I have number 19,
Yep.
because I realized right away I can't have a single digit number, because I was gonna go number 4, Tim Farr, Jeremiah. But the thing with Jeremiah, I got to watch him on TNN, but I didn't get to watch him.
You were a Yamaha guy. I was always a big fan of Bill Balance.
Bill Balance, Adam McGill, the Gator, who just
Oh,
this is like- he-
Gator
this
don't
is-
play no shit.
Yeah, he is. This is gonna be his last year.
You gotta get the video
Say,
clip
hey,
of that.
Gator don't play no shit. You feel me? Gator never been about that.
Oh shit. it, man.
So
Oh,
time we gotta stop it. We can stop it quick second. And
Yep.
I can upload it onto a card, and then we can.
Yep, we'll do that. We'll just
all
take
right.
a break.
Yeah, we'll take a break.
Like I
Perfect.
said, this is going to be more.
All right, everybody. Welcome back from our break, guys. We had a little bit of technical difficulties here on our second half. A little bit of a learning curve here. A little bit of audio, a little bit of visual too. There, we won't
We
get
had some
into
new
that.
mics here that we got. We got them from Art McNeil.
Yeah, oh, Team Extreme. Team Extreme. We'd like to thank Art there for these awesome new mics. So we're just having a little trouble trying to get them all dialed in, but we're getting there, and that's the only way to get better is to keep doing it. So, I'd really like to thank Ben for coming up, and we're not done with Ben yet. We're gonna set another date, and we're gonna continue where we left off, and we're really looking forward to that. We really hope everybody's been enjoying the show so far. We've been having a lot of fun doing this. A lot of people have reached out, and we got some pretty cool people that are going to come on in these next coming weeks. What do you think, Zach?
Yeah, no, well, we got Mark Miller coming on this weekend, so that's going to be a wicked episode. He's been racing since what? He's like, first race was in
1985?
No, 83.
83?
Or not 83, 93, sorry. He told me that today. 93. It was on a 200 ATC.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure he's going to talk about that. And we got some history, too. We were talking about that today. We'll get into that on that podcast. But, yeah, it's pretty good history. It's funny how I already knew him, but didn't really know him. But,
so,
yeah, no, and so that's about it. And then I think we got some other guys coming on. Maybe check out that Rallycross.
Yep.
And,
yep.
no, but yeah, no, that's basically it. We just wanted to come on. We didn't have the ending of that clip. It was no good to use, so this is it. This is the learning curve, but I think we got the mics figured out now, and hopefully give you guys some wicked content.
Awesome, guys.
And,
well, we hope you enjoyed what we got on this one anyway, but no, Ben's got quite a story, man, and we're not done. We're not done yet, so right on. We hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for tuning in, and as always,
right deadly.
right deadly.
If one hits the wall, one hits the mud, gasoline and grit running inside the blood. We don't lift, we don't quit, we just send it. Get running for something right.